Avery, whose show is this? And we're live. Welcome, everybody, here to the Lakers Lowdown Podcast. I'm Anthony Irwin, riding solo here on this fine Tuesday evening as the Dodgers play the Yankees to potentially sweep them. In the background over here in my office, this is going to be a slightly shorter show because of the extra episode that I recorded yesterday with Pete. I hope you guys checked that out. That was a really popular one. It's funny. I usually get a good number of comments on sports content, right? Especially sports content that features as much opinions as my content does, or like podcasts do. And I would say we probably received about double as many comments, and about half of those comments were people saying like, I can't believe that's what Pete looks like. It's just a hilarious development there for me personally. As I was somebody who was telling him like, dude, just get on camera. Like, I don't know what you're feeling iffy about, all this stuff. And he was always very reluctant. He was always pretty iffy about it. Did a show recently with Jovan, showed his face there, and then came on this show and then showed his face here again. And I'm guessing he's going to start showing his face on more stuff moving forward. Sure hope so. If I could show this thing on camera, then he can with his. So check out that show. Also recorded a show yesterday after the game with Raj, in which we talked about the game that we just watched. The Lakers last night lost to the Phoenix Suns. How did they not score on that? Wow, what an idiot. That we watched that Phoenix Suns game last night. Obviously annoying to lose. You don't like losing. You never like losing. But sometimes over the course of an 82 game season, you're going to lose games that you feel like you should have won. And look, the more games that you lose that you feel like you won means that like you have a decent team to feel like you have a good enough chance going into it anyway. So we talked a little bit about that game. We discussed what we've seen from Max Christie and Gabe Vincent and what more the Lakers need from them. Also a little bit about D'Angelo Russell. So check out that show. Today on this show, I'm going to be talking about the injury report for tomorrow, which is now looking really long. D'Angelo Russell is apparently dealing with a sore lower back, and Austin Reaves is dealing with a contusion. Austin is considered probable. D'Lo is considered questionable to play. So we'll talk about the potential rotation ramifications to that, as well as like a reminder of just how thin this roster is, and how quickly these injuries can seriously impact what this roster is kind of capable of. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Also got news today that Christian Koloko is finally cleared by the NBA. So we'll talk a little bit about what he brings to the table. I reported as part of my write-up on Bronny that he is going to be playing, or it looks like he's going to be playing when the Lakers head to Cleveland. It was funny. Dan Wojcicki asked LeBron about it last night, and LeBron, I think started to give like an answer, like, no, whatever his like canned answer would be. But it definitely made one feel like, okay, looks like we're going to see Bronny in Cleveland. So I started asking around, and the people I spoke to told me that, yeah, looks like that's kind of the plan. We'll see how they execute the plan, if Cleveland allows the Lakers to execute the plan, all of that stuff. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And then I guess I'll also hit on the piece that I wrote for Clutch Points about Bronny, if you guys are interested in that too. And then finally, to wrap things up, we'll talk about Jalen Hood-Schifino, as he has a third-year option. He's in his second year, obviously. So the Lakers have a decision to make by Thursday, by Halloween, on his third-year option and by extension fourth-year option. So I'll talk a little bit about that as well. So until let's go ahead and dive on into all of that stuff. A quick reminder, please do hit the subscribe button here if you guys are watching live on YouTube. If you guys are watching live on Twitter, head on over to YouTube at youtube.com/at Lakers Lounge is where you can find the show. We've been getting a ton of subscribers now that the season is finally underway. I appreciate that. Welcome to the welcome to this channel and welcome to this feed. Hope you like it here. Make yourself comfortable. It's a lounge after all. Grab yourself a beverage. I'm currently holding a glass of wine, as this could be a night in which the Dodgers win a World Series. If you guys are listening live, or not live, but if you guys are listening to this in the morning in the form of a podcast, please do hit subscribe wherever it is that you get your podcast, preferably on Odyssey, and leave your reviews. Hit the like button, hit the review button, tell your friends about it, all of that good stuff. Let's get going. So we start with news, as the Lakers prepare to play Cleveland. We start with news that Austin and D'Lo are both kind of dinged up, which sucks because they need to get as many reps as they possibly can. It's a long season, and I don't quite recall Austin getting hit in that game, and I definitely don't recall D'Lo dealing with anything over the course of that game. But you just never know with backs. If D'Lo can't, Austin is considered probable to play, so chances are we'll see him. If D'Lo can't go, I'm really kind of curious what you guys think the Lakers should do, and what you think they will do with the starting lineup and adjustments to it. You have obviously Max Christie started in the offseason. And when D'Lo or Austin wasn't ready to go or couldn't go in the preseason, you have Dalton Connect playing really, really well. Maybe the Lakers decide to give him a look in that first unit. You have you have Gabe Vincent, who JJ Redick really, really likes, obviously, too. So maybe he starts alongside Austin as kind of the primary ball handler, so that Austin's role isn't messed with too much, on for this one game, or hopefully just one game basis. If I had to predict it, this is not sourced, but if I had to predict it, I would say that Max probably gets the nod, though I would prefer to see Dalton start. My own personal preference. I think the sooner that the Lakers basically match up, they pair off D'Lo and Max together, and then Austin and Dalton together, the more sense the rotation is going to make. And I think that's one way that you could go about doing that. And if you have this kind of opportunity with D'Lo potentially missing this game and however long beyond it, might make some sense to get that ball rolling. So the one guy that I would be like disappointed to see start, I think, would be Gabe. I think he already has too big of a role on this team. They think of him as something that, or a player that he is not. And I think he's kind of hurting the Lakers a little bit because he's in a bit of an outside role. But yeah, if I had to list them in order of guys that I would prefer to see start, I would probably go Dalton, Max, then Gabe. And Gabe is like a distant third. And then if I had to list like the order that I think, the likelihood, I would say probably Max is the likeliest, and then Gabe is the second likeliest, and then Dalton is the least likely. But we aren't too far removed, I don't think, or we aren't too far from the Lakers needing to carve out more minutes for Dalton. He's been that good, and you got to, I think JJ has done a very good job at times with sending messages with like type of play that he will not tolerate. The example most recently was Max getting benched right away when he didn't get back on defense. D'Lo took a really dumb shot late in the game. He was shown the bench really quickly. So like JJ is doing a really good job of using playing time to send a message. Well, another way you can send a message on the positive aspect of this, or the positive end of the spectrum, is to reward somebody like Dalton, who is playing as well as he is, with more time, for playing well and for playing the way that JJ wants him to play. So outside of that, though, the rest of the no other surprises on the injury report, and let's hope it stays that way. The next topic here is Christian Koloko getting cleared for basketball activities by the league's panel. This is big news here for the Lakers, as their rotation, or their center options are very thin behind Jackson Hayes. Koloko is pretty similar, honestly, to Hayes, and he's not going to be available, I don't think, right away, as he hasn't been able, like, he is not, while he was in this like program trying to get cleared by the league, he was not allowed to practice with the Lakers officially, or in any official capacity. So like, he has some conditioning to go through. He has stuff that he has to learn. He has like a lot of work that he needs to do to be able to give it a go with this main team. He is on a 2-way contract, so I would imagine he's going to get plenty of reps down there with the South Bay Lakers. And if he impresses, remember, he was just an NBA player before this blood clot issue kind of popped up. So hopefully he's able to regain that footing in the league and show some of what made him a rotation player for the Toronto Raptors a couple of years ago. And if he does, I'm a big fan of competition between players who play the same position. So I like what we've seen here between Dalton and Max. I think it's made Dalton a little bit better. I don't think Max has handled it very well. I think it would be good to see Koloko and Hayes push each other, and then eventually Wood, if and when he's healthy too. So, yeah, getting him back is a really, really good thing. This is like a week removed from ESPN reporting, more than a week now, reporting that it was going to happen very soon. It took longer than everybody expected. There were people nervous that it, may never happen internally. But it did. He's a Laker now officially, and I wish the dude nothing but the best in terms of staying healthy and impacting this Lakers season. So congratulations to Christian. Let's see how all of this goes. The next story here on the docket is about Bronny. He is so first, I actually want to start with what I wrote up about Bronny for Clutch Points today. I wrote that, I did some talking. I made some calls, sent some texts, got some texts back, that good stuff. I wanted to see, like, everybody is looking, myself included to this point, have been looking at it through the prism of, well, isn't this cool for LeBron? And isn't this such a cool, heartwarming story? And is it nepotism? And, well, Bronny doesn't look quite right, and he doesn't look ready, and all of that stuff. And I think one angle of this that hasn't been talked about at all, that I've been able to see. I had somebody from the Lakers, or I had a few people from the Lakers over the course of my the last few days and talking to people, say it's been really refreshing to have Bronny there for practices, and that LeBron is like, you can feel it tangibly, that Bronny is really doing whatever he can to set an example for Bronny, and having Bronny there in practice has, brought some real, kind of levity for LeBron and lightened that situation up. Because like at the onset of a season, you just like never especially if you've been doing this as yeah, that hurt him. Oof. Um, for LeBron, he is, he's been doing this for 22 years now. He's nearing 40. You think about all of the practices and film sessions and weight room sessions and physical therapy and all of the time LeBron spent away from his family, to have his family with the team and there with him, um, has to be kind of, you know, uh it has to like fill him with a little bit of extra energy as you kind of embark on this 82 game trudge of a season. And from what I was told by people there who have watched him in practice and watched Bronny in practice, that like you can really sense that LeBron is really kind of relishing in those moments that he gets to spend with Bronny. So that's kind of a cool scene. And then obviously for Bronny, um, again, separating the publicity stunt nature of all this, we'll talk about that here in a second, but um, separating some of the kind of other stuff that is going on, um, for Bronny to be introduced to the league by your dad and kind of receive this like on-site lessons from LeBron on like what it's going to take to succeed. That's also got to be cool, right? To have LeBron there to set that example has got to be pretty cool for Bronny. So that's been interesting or cool for people there in the Lakers facilities to watch. And look, like as I said in the piece, you know, we'll see how this goes when the Lakers and the South Bay Lakers part ways, and LeBron embarks on the season, and Bronny embarks on the season that he's going to have in the G League, and we'll see how it goes, because guys are going to be really trying him, because they know like a great way to show up on Twitter. I spoke to people around the league about this, and somebody who I spoke to was like, yeah, if like it was an assistant coach, I'm remembering it, who has coached in the G League before, was like, it's cutthroat down there. It is, those guys are fighting and scratching and clawing to get to the next level. And, with the Lakes, stop hitting people. The Dodgers just keep beating people. What are you doing? The Lakers are the guys who are on the actual Lakers team, they have their contracts all ready to go. They are made men to a certain example. And for the guys in the G League, they aren't in that same way. They are fighting to get to that point. You have guys on two ways who are trying to prove to their teams that they are worth moving up a little bit more often. You have guys on the late South Bay Lakers roster too, who like in practice are really going to be trying Bronny, because it's one thing again for the guys on the main roster to sit there and be like, this is cool, this is cute, all the stuff, like, and just kind of take that in stride. But when you're in the G League and how you perform in practice compared to the guy that you're competing with, like there is not those guys are not going to have time for the cool story. They're going to be focused on going at LeBron or Bronny, and trying to play either with the main Lakers team. Quincy Olivari is a dog. Jalen Hood-Schifino is playing to extend his career. More on him in a little bit. There is not going to be patience down there in the G League for this stuff with those players. And, is it fair to kind of put Bronny in that spot if he isn't quite ready for it. Um, you know, just so that LeBron can feel better at work. I don't know. Like, I don't think so, but also like, this is what everybody knew they were signing up for. So look, and like with Bronny getting ready to play in Cleveland, I think that does kind of hammer home what this has been all along. This has been all about, LeBron getting these moments and the James family getting these moments. And again, they're cool. Um, I think everybody will be pretty happy when all of this is kind of behind them, who aren't the James family, because there's a season going on. There are basketball games that you need to go out and win, and the longer that this would have continued, the more of a headache that it could have become. So, um, wish nothing but the best to Bronny. Cool that he gets to help his dad in this kind of indirect way, and I hope everybody else just kind of like moves forward because that's what we all kind of need to do. All right, the next one here on the docket and last story that we're going to talk about before I see we have a super comment, so I'll answer that one before we get up out of here too. Um, According to the people that I've spoken to, the Lakers are going to they haven't yet. They have until Halloween. I think it's like Halloween evening to make that decision. But they have a decision to make on Jalen Hood-Schifino's third and fourth year team options. Some teams, like we've already seen, have picked up both the third and fourth year options on their guys. I don't anticipate that the Lakers will pick up the fourth year option on it. I envision that. Man, that was a strike. I envision that it'll actually be a it'll be just the third year that they pick up, and if next year goes the way that like this year has gone, then he will probably not have that fourth year picked up. The Lakers have been, including him in trade talks. It's just tough to trade him right now because he went from being a super valuable asset before he was selected, right? That first round pick was a really valuable asset. And then you pick him and he plays as poorly as he has, and he's as injured as he has been. And now his value is about as low as it may ever get for him as an NBA player. So trading him at this kind of low point is tough. And then for the other teams out there, it's like, well, what are we trading for exactly? So yeah, when the Lakers have included excuse me, Jalen in these trade negotiations or trade talks, it's been kind of like, what else you got? So the top priority here though for Jalen is like just get healthy, man. Like he said coming off of last year that he never really felt 100% last season. He's been sick now too at the beginning of this season. Like just get right, man. And then, chances are we aren't going to see him. Chances are we aren't going to see him with the main team this year or in that rotation this year because you have Austin and you have D'Lo and you have um, Max and Cam and Gabe. And so like, the possibility that we're actually going to see him out there is pretty low with this main team. And then even like the competition with the G League, we just talked about it with Bronny. He's going to be in this like three-headed competition between him, Olivari, and Bronny for minutes down there with the G League, and that isn't a guaranteed thing as it stands right now. So get healthy, compete, develop, get better. And frankly, like just speaking me personally here, I kind of hope that he like gets a change of scenery, whether it's this season or next or whatever. Uh, it's just it's not going to. It doesn't seem like it's going to work out for Jalen here with the Lakers. You look at any time anything regarding Jalen gets tweeted out, uh, fans jump all over it, because they didn't take Jaquez when they should have, or they didn't take Pods when they should have, or they didn't take Whitmore when they should have. It's not Jalen's fault that the Lakers made a bad pick. And, just because the Lakers made a bad pick, like he is objectively bad value for as a first rounder now. But if he sticks around long enough, if he sticks with it, and he goes on to have like a 6-7 year career somehow, then maybe, just maybe, he's okay value for a second rounder, or he winds up being good value for some team to take a flyer on. That's probably how this is going to play out for Jalen. But he does have this little bit of security up front. And, from the Lakers standpoint, they don't really have a choice here. And you also, we know that Rob doesn't love admitting to mistakes. And if you don't pick up that option, that is admitting failure on that pick. And so with all of these factors now taken into account, this is how this is going to play out. And so I asked around on how people think this is going to go internally. And I was told that sometime between now and Thursday that his third year option will be picked up. And again, everybody can kind of move forward. All right, we have 2 super comments here, which means, although in my opinion, fuck the Yankees at this current moment. All right, so the first super comment here that we have comes from Andre Perry, who says, I think Cam Reddish needs some playing time. We got to give up on the Cam Reddish thing. He's just, you'll see this a lot with players who were like really high recruits in high school because they were bigger, stronger, faster than everybody. And then if they get to the college ranks and they don't really take that step forward in college, that's a bit of a concern. And then when they get to the NBA, where you're required to really work on your game and really take being a professional seriously, it's that's about all you need to know, right? About a player. And I think at this point, Cam is on his 5th or 6th stop. Like, he's had every opportunity, and he was a really high draft pick. And those kinds of guys always get every opportunity to succeed. He was given all of those opportunities. He hasn't succeeded. He's actually, I think, gotten worse in his time as a Laker. I get it because of the physical tools and because of the Lakers' need for perimeter defense, that it makes some sense that you would want to go out and get him or whatever, or give him a go. But I just don't see it with him. The coaching staff doesn't see it with him, and before too long, the entire league won't see it with him. The next question that we have here comes from Justin Tindle at who writes, sorry, this has become a dead set joke, a circus. This is Bron's 7th year with us. Let me guess, Bronny is going to play in Miami too. I was thinking about that today. I don't think he will. I don't think LeBron has like Cleveland is where Bronny grew up. This is very much like they are trying to force it on us as like this super heartwarming story. It's been really interesting how few people outside of the Lakers fan base or Lakers fan base seem to care about it. It's become kind of a joke. Like this next step, I think, is when like in writing what I did today and then getting aggregated by that NBA Central or whatever it is, like watching the reaction to that has been interesting because it went from like anybody who criticized it, myself included, who criticized it were called lame, was called this, were called that, whatever. Now though, like with today's update that, that he's going to play, and with the way that the Lakers have kind of insulted all of our intelligence by telling us that, like, I swear it's just because he's the 55th pick. We're just giving him a go. Like, the more that you insult people's intelligence, the less people enjoy being insulted. So I tend to think that this is probably the last time that they do this until it's like later in the season and maybe the Lakers have enough injuries, or maybe Bronny plays well enough in the G League that he gets a go later in the year. But I would imagine this will be kind of the last time that we see this for quite some time, including Miami. Yeah, like, you had LeBron say after the game the other day, like, we didn't want to make it about us. Like, oh, sure. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Um, I again, it's just, it is what it is, you know. It's a thing that looks like it's going to happen. And I have, wow, there's interesting to we have a lot of comments here, so I'm going to see if I can kick this person out. Sorry, everybody. Ban user, delete comments. So yeah, I just yeah, it's one of those situations here where LeBron wants this, the Lakers want this, JJ is playing along. And here's hoping, right? Like the last time we saw Bronny, the Lakers had a double-digit lead that was immediately cut into. This is going to be another tough game. The Cavs are 4-0 right now. They're playing really good basketball. And you know, you can't afford to mess around too much here. So we'll see how this plays out. We'll see the reaction to it. And then again, hopefully everybody just kind of moves on. Speaking of moving on, I am going to go ahead and call it here for this episode of the Lakers Lowdown podcast. Please do hit that subscribe button and you know, hit the like button and all of those good things. Tomorrow's show, the Lakers play, so Raj and I will be live after the game. And then you know, we'll see how that goes, because you know, the Dodgers don't appear to really be playing to win this one. So, you know, given their like choices and pitchers and stuff like that. So chances are the Lakers and the Dodgers will be playing simultaneously, at least for a little bit. And so we'll see how I handle all of that. So until then, and until the next time you guys hear from me, I'm Anthony Irwin saying, have a great rest of your day. Make somebody else's, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one, everybody. Told my enemies I hate your show. Perfect.